Okay, so I'm going to show you guys how I do my nip nails. I just took off my red manicure today. There wasn't nothing wrong with it. I just, was ready to change them. And you can see that my fingers are stained just a little bit red from where I soaked them off, but we'll fix all that whenever I'm prepping to do my new nails. So I'm going to show you guys what I am working with. So you need a buffer block, a good decent nail file, using a little spoon to scoop the dip, and I have a cuticle trimmer, I have a toothpick, makeup brush, I have my dip, and then I have some clear dip, and I also have an electric file. This is not required. It just makes life a little bit easier. I got this for 20 bucks on Amazon. And I'll show you what I do with that. I am using Lavender Violet's liquids. You don't have to use this brand. You can use whatever brand you want. This little set, it actually comes with a 4th bottle that's called the Brush Saver. It's $13.99 on Amazon. So that's one of the main reasons why I use it. But it works really well. So I also have used Revel's liquids. They're a little more expensive. And honestly, I didn't feel like they worked better than these. So, except theirs was a little bit more thick and I had to add the thinner to it, and it just gets kind of goopy. Anyway, the other thing I have is some cuticle oil, and we'll use this at the very end, and we'll get started. So, oh, I'm missing one thing. Stand by. Okay, the one thing I was missing was a cuticle, I don't know, I call them Cuticle Pushers. This is a glass one. They work really, really well. Work a lot better than the metal ones and the wooden ones from what I find. So I am going to work on my cuticles first. So you just go along, push back your cuticles all around. If there's any dead tissue stuck on your nail bed, you're gonna kind of scrape that off. You just want to push them back, and you can kind of push it on the side. And I use the little point if I have some dry skin or cuticles stuck on there. Kind of use that to scrape it off. Alright. And so I'm going to go along and do all my cuticles and get them ready to actually trim the cuticles. So I'm going to pause, do all that, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm done pushing back the cuticles on this hand, so I'm just going to show you how I use my electric drill just to clean up around the edge. I don't have a whole lot of extra cuticles since I just did my nails about a week ago, so you can kind of do the skin around the edge of your nail, right here on the sides if you have really deep edges or some super dry skin. Try to catch that little piece right there. I'm using little trimmers to catch this part. So you can use the trimmers or the e-file. Sometimes I do both, just depending on if I have a little stubborn spot. I'll just trim it up. Okay. So you just go on the edge and cut away all the white dead cuticles. Doing this will help your manicure last longer. Alright, so I'm going to finish this up and I'll be right back. So you don't want to sit here and watch me do this all 10 fingers. I'll be right back. Okay, I got my cuticles all prepped. Now the next thing is to prep your nail beds. Some people have an actually very oily type nail bed that stays very shiny. If you do, you may want to use a primer before you start the dip process. I've never had to do that before. Some people will also just like wipe their nails with rubbing alcohol just to help dry them out a little bit before they start the dip process, and helps things adhere a little bit better. I've never had to do that. I just rough up the top a little bit to take away the shine, and that is enough to get everything to stick. So you can do this with a regular nail file or a buffer. You don't have to use the e-file. I'm going to show you. It's just quicker with the e-file. So I'll just show you how to do it real quick. I just kind of lay it flat and go along the edges near my cuticle on the side of my nail, and then just go across the nail bed pretty quick. You don't want to take a lot off of your nail. You just want to rough it up a little bit to give the dip something to hold on to. And so I'm going to go along all the nails, and that's it. So I'm going to do that real quick. I'll be right back. Okay, so my nails are all prepped. So the next thing I'm going to do is start building the apex with the dip. And I want to use the pour over method. So I'll show you how to do it. So when you build the apex, you start with just a little tiny spot right in the middle. You just want to go whoop, little stripe right in the middle. And you want to use just a very thin layer of base. So just pour it over and tap off the excess. And see how I just got that one little stripe? So I'm going to move on to my other nails. And you want to make sure you wipe your brush off so you have just a thin layer. Alright, so I'm going to go along and do this on all 10 fingers. I'll be right back. Okay, so I did my first layer and I've already brushed off my nails, but I'll go through the process, show you again. So you just want to kind of brush them over the little cupcake liner to catch any excess. So the second layer, you still want to have really thin layers. So you're going to start just a little bit further back, and you're going to make it just a little bit wider on both sides. And I'm using clear for my first two coats because clear is the strongest, and it also helps you conserve your color dip. Alright, I'm going to do a couple more. So you just go a little bit further back and just a little bit wider. And tap off the excess. And I'm going to keep doing all these and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm ready to do my third layer, and I'm going to use the color dip for this and the fourth layer. This is Flirtatious. It is a mood change, temperature change dip. It is dark purple, and then when it is warm, it turns to like a, I guess kind of like a bright pink. I've added a little bit of purple sparkles to it. I don't know if you can see the sparkles, but they're so pretty. And I'm gonna work on this. Okay, so I'm going to start the third layer. I'm going to cover the majority of my nail bed with this layer. I want to show you how to make sure that you don't flood your cuticles. So wipe your brush off pretty good. Go about 3/4 of the way down and brush down from there. And get close to the edge of the nail without getting it on your skin. Now when you come up towards the cuticles, just push it back towards the cuticles instead of starting there and wiping downwards. Now I'm gonna pour it over and tap off the excess. So I'll show you another one. So I'm going to start about 3/4 of the way down. And up towards the top. I'm just going to push back towards my cuticles, because I don't want to get a lot of liquid up there. Okay. Alright, I'm going to do the rest of my nails and I'll be right back. Okay, another little trick I meant to show you is that when you do your full nail, once you are done pouring the powder over, hold on. Sorry, I wanted to make sure I got it close but not touching. Okay. So I got a little bit of powder right there, so I'm just going to liquid right there, so I'm going to wipe it off before I pour the powder, because otherwise then I'll end up with powder stuck on my skin. So I'm going to tap the excess off, pour a little bit more on, tap the excess off, and then I'm going to take this Q-tip and I'm going to go around the edge of my cuticle, and this will keep the dip from attaching to my cuticle. When you have it all the way up against your cuticle, it'll look fine the first few days, but when it starts growing out, that's when you're gonna have a problem with lifting up along your cuticle line, because it will no longer be attached to your nail. Alright, so I'm gonna brush these off back into my little container. The coloring looks a little weird because this is color change, and so you can see where like some of it's darker and some of it's lighter. It's okay, it'll all work out.